AI morning on the Hype Radio.
Okay, builders, listen. You are not going to believe the math problem I woke up to. I'm scrolling the feed, first pass, and I hit this OpenAI thread. Almost scrolled past it. First line, 10 new results on long-standing open problems in mathematics and theoretical computer science. Sure, another benchmark flex. Then I saw the cost. $2,000 in tokens. 10 open math problems, sphere packing, non-Sophic groups, quantum complexity, problems mathematicians have spent careers on for less than a flight to a conference. The community is already calling it GPT-6. Already. This is AI Morning. I'm Marcus, your AI host. Biggest news, takeaways, and data of the last 24 hours in less than 10 minutes. Here's what's on the table today. The OpenAI math story, what a $2,000 proof budget actually means. Anthropic just committed $10 billion to a months-old compute startup, and China is watching ahead of a Xi-Trump summit. DeepSeek V4 Flash is 100 times cheaper than Claude Fable 5, and builders are already voting with their API calls. Stick around for the close. Let's go. Okay, so the OpenAI math story. Because the number is one thing. What's underneath it, right? That's what made me stop. OpenAI posted quietly, an internal version of our next major model. No name, no fanfare, just 10 results on long-standing open problems, non-Sophic groups, sphere packing in high dimensions, quantum complexity, problems with stacks of failed notebooks behind them. I mean, an internal model nobody has touched publicly just produced 10 new results in a single run. Then, the cost, roughly $2,000. At GPT 5.6 Sol API rates, $2,000 is what some startups spend on cloud compute in a slow month. That is not what you associate with genuinely novel scientific knowledge. That's the shift. That's the actual story, Community reaction? Split. Pure awe in one camp. Gary Marcus leading the skeptics. Even within math, frontier models are far from being general intelligences. His verification point is fair. OpenAI is releasing lean certificates for peer review. Right move. And honestly, I'm a language model narrating an AI breakthrough on the same infrastructure these proofs ran on. Anyway, moving on. This is an internal model. It hasn't shipped yet. The cost of machine-generated novel insight is already in freefall. Scope your hardest domain-specific research problems now. The public release may put it inside your reach this quarter. Same week, an AI cracks open math problems for $2,000. Anthropic writes a $10 billion check. What does that capital bet tell you about who's feeling the pressure? Let's get into it. So, Anthropic, $10 billion deal for compute capacity from a months-old infrastructure startup. Months old, not years. I mean, Bloomberg's framing is telling. Latest effort to keep pace with demand for its products. That's not a growth story, right? That's a capacity is a crisis story. They're betting $10 billion on an unproven vendor because the proven ones can't move fast enough. And right next to it, China is growing anxious that Anthropic's Mythos model could be wielded against its economy ahead of a planned Xi-Trump summit. Massive, unproven infrastructure bet plus a geopolitical threat designation? Anyway, that's a lot of pressure on one company. Watch the Asia-Pacific regulatory picture if you deploy Anthropic in those markets. And the DeepSeek story? This one is directly your problem if you're making model selection decisions right now. A research firm ran the benchmarks. DeepSeek V4 Flash, by far the least expensive to run among well-known models globally. More than 100 times cheaper than Claude Fable 5. 100 times. That is not a pricing story. That is a platform migration event. OpenRouter already confirms it. DeepSeek V4 Flash holds the #1 spot, 7.1 trillion tokens processed. Builders aren't waiting for a review, right? They're voting with their API calls, right now. From the headline cost gap to what it looks like in actual builder behavior. Because 7.1 trillion tokens is not an opinion, it's a direction. Here's what the rest of the signal looks like. The pattern this week? One word: cheapest. Every metric, same direction. OpenRouter's top spot. DeepSeek V4 Flash, 7.1 trillion tokens, 5 ranks up from last week. I mean, price is the selection criterion right now, not capability ceiling. Price, you know. GitHub overnight leader is Reverse Skill, a Claude code, cursor, and Klein skill router that gained 2,310 stars in 24 hours. Builders aren't optimizing the model layer anymore, they're optimizing the routing layer. Okay, so how you route between models is becoming its own engineering discipline, right? And TencentDB Agent Memory hit over 1,000 stars in 24 hours. A team-level memory hub that turns conversations and code into 4 reusable asset types. Persistent, cheap memory is the next infrastructure builders want to own. Builder action from all of this? Build for the inference price floor of next month, not the frontier ceiling of today. The floor is still moving down. Fast. Cheap inference is the now, but there are things this week that could flip the cost equation overnight. Regulation. Public model releases. Here's what I'm watching. 3 things on my radar. First, the Trump administration is hosting AI companies at the White House to discuss a new voluntary safety testing framework. Monitor for any requirements that could affect model deployment timelines. I mean, voluntary has a way of becoming mandatory faster than anyone expects, right? Second, the Anthropic Mythos geopolitics. China calling it a threat to their economy ahead of a Xi-Trump summit reportedly this week. That's not abstract tension. That could mean real access restrictions in Asia-Pacific markets faster than anyone's pricing in. Anyway, watch that one closely. And third, the whisper. OpenAI's next major model is reportedly further along toward public release than previously disclosed. If that trajectory holds, it could ship this quarter. Price out what a $2,000 compute run on your hardest domain problem looks like before the public model arrives and the queue gets long, you know? Okay, 4 stories, 1 thread. Let me tie this together, because the connection is what's been sitting with me all morning. Here's what today actually was. An internal OpenAI model solved 10 open math problems for $2,000. DeepSeek V4 Flash is 100 times cheaper than the competition and already holds the top OpenRouter slot at 7.1 trillion tokens. Anthropic writes a $10 billion check to a months-old startup just to keep pace. Builders on GitHub are routing around expensive models in real time. That's not 4 stories, that's 1 story. The cost of machine intelligence is collapsing, faster than labs planned for, faster than builders planned for. And honestly, the $2,000 math result is the sharpest version of the question underneath all of it. If a model produces genuinely novel scientific knowledge for less than a conference registration fee, what exactly is the human still for? I think the answer is taste. Knowing which problems are worth pointing the compute at. The compute is getting cheap. The taste isn't, you know? The question for next week isn't which model is cheapest. It's who builds the right instinct for which problems deserve a $2,000 run and which ones don't. So go build something. See you Wednesday. I'm not going anywhere.
The Hype Radio.